Well, a pleasant good morning and welcome to the CCG Hour. It is just great that you can be with us again for another Friday morning. And I am here with Miss Ann Hopkins. Well, I think it doesn't make sense I'm saying from the Patient Kidney Foundation anymore. Ann, good morning.
Good morning, my dear.
Yes, I think we need to stop just saying the Patient Kidney Foundation because you wear so many hats. And now you're here as, well, not doctor, but certainly as nurse.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes.
Anyway, but we have a lot to do today. So I'm not even going to harass you and interfere with you, not like to interfere with you, but we're going to just go straight ahead because we do have a whole lot to do today. So for the program before, we started menstruation, and we know we hadn't gotten very far, but we really want to get to that today.
On with the program.
Yes. So the last time we looked at just the female reproductive organ, and then we started to talk about menstruation.
Yes.
So we'll take up from where we left off.
Yes.
And I have your nice charts here with me.
Yes.
And so we can begin. I want us to recap a little bit.
Yes.
Concerning, so we know the vagina is here and all of that.
That's
but we
right.
just want to look at just the actual, what happens in the menstruation, because we looked at the cycle and so last time.
Okay, you remember,
Pregnancy.
this is the ovaries. It does not stick on to the fallopian tube.
Right. I remember you said
It does not stick
that.
onto the fallopian tube. It's on its own. Although the fallopian tube and the ovaries stick onto the uterus, but they are separated entities.
Right. It's amazing. You know, I've taught this, of course, well, to smaller children now, so I don't have to go, in that kind of depth. And when it's when it's shown like this, you get the impression that it is attached.
Yes.
It really looks like if it is attached, but it's only when...
What happens when you ovulate and the eggs come from the ovaries, because all the eggs is formed and made in the ovaries. What happens when you ovulate, one of the eggs comes out from the ovaries into here, and you have filaments, hair-like filaments.
It will grab it.
That grabs the egg and takes it down.
Interesting. That is so amazing. All right, great. So let's just recap period now. So
Yes.
because I think this
that's
is what's
the
going on
menstrual
here.
cycle here.
Right.
Okay. So therefore, the eggs comes in here. That's the egg here. If it's not fertilized, the eggs goes down here in the uterus, and then your uterus start bleeding, and it comes out as menstruation.
Right.
Okay. Once the egg is not fertilized, you have tissues. The blood comes out through the vagina.
Okay.
But if you are fertilized, the egg comes and implanted itself, embedded itself in the uterus, and menstruation does not occur.
Okay. If a woman has fibroids or cysts or polyps or so, and I know we're not going to get into too much detail in that, but still, it will most likely, okay, if it is attached, let's say, anywhere inside the uterus, because I know it's usually, right? Is it that, right, when normally you would hear people say, well, the period is much heavier because you have fibroids or whatever. Why is it heavier?
Because you have hormones working there. And the hormones is working also on the fibroids. So therefore, your bleeding may be heavier. Sometimes you don't even have fibroids to have a heavier bleeding than normal. All this is hormones related.
Okay, so what about for some women who, okay, you have the clotting. Is that normal? Is it that something is wrong if you have too much of the clotting?
Something is wrong. Hormones, again, is always playing that your state of your body and everything like it.
Because we do, because I know that some people have a lot of clotting.
Yes, your blood clots. And why you have the pain? Because it comes out in junk and it forces itself out of the cervix. And you know when you're having a baby, when the cervix is
have to be pushed open, yes.
Enlarging, you get pain. So it's just as the other side of having a baby, because it's coming down this little hole, which is pushes itself and has to open the cervix. So that's where you get the pain.
Okay.
Because the cervix is being opened.
All right. Right. So this one really interested me. This retrograde menstruation business. Never heard of it.
It's a menstruation whereby you have your normal menstruation, but instead of it's coming here, here, you see, instead of it's coming here and goes down in the vagina, what it does, it backflow itself and go into the abdominal cavity. So you don't have the blood coming out of your vagina, very little blood, but it goes in the abdominal cavity.
And then what happens?
It absorbs itself in the abdominal cavity.
So how many people might, this is not common?
It's not common. It's not common. It's not common.
But then what
It's
what
common
happens?
enough to be
studied, to talk, right?
To be studied and to talk about.
So that, but then, okay, so are there symptoms? Is there something that will happen? How would you know?
Sick. Sometimes you feel nauseous.
Really?
So you really don't know. You just know you're not having a lot of blood coming out here, although you're having your periods. But because it's a backflow, you're not having your normal periods. You'll have a dripping, you know, staining, but instead of it coming out here, it backflow itself. And it goes into the abdominal cavity. It goes into the pelvis. It goes right here in the pelvis.
Really? That is crazy.
Yes. Normally the flows comes here, but now it comes up here and it comes here, and you can see the bleeding into the pelvis.
Yeah. It just goes there.
It just goes there.
Okay, now.
Renegade, it run away. Retrograde.
Yeah, going back. It's crazy.
Away.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Just before we take a break, I want us to look at what are some, we know the general symptoms that people have from, you know, from the period. A lot of people have a lot of issues. Now, we also know that there are lots of persons who, oh boy, well, you know, us in Grenada, we love to give a lot of advice as it relates to all the different things we could drink for period pain. What honestly do you, I know you're not a herbalist per se, but you're in medicine for quite a while. What do you think might be some of the most effective natural medicine for that?
I don't know much about
any kind.
natural medicine.
That's not your thing.
I don't know much about natural medicine. I know you take Panadol. You don't take aspirin.
Okay, and tell me why.
It causes bleeding.
Right, it
So you don't
thins the
take
blood.
aspirin. Motrin are one of those NSAID over the counter.
Right.
But, for period pain, I know people do take guava leaf. People do take not black sage, other herbal stuff, but I don't know the names.
Right, that is not your not your forte.
Right. And then I know people put a hot water bottle.
What does that
on
do?
the stomach.
I'm glad you went there because I was going to.
It melts the blood. It makes the blood, the clotted blood.
Oh, that is what
the pain. So it helps
to ease.
And yes. Yes.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, I want us to speak just briefly about the health of sanitary napkins and tampons as it relates to length of time we should keep it, because I know women who might say, oh, well, I'm not, you know, I don't have a heavy flow, so I can keep on my pad, I don't know, whole day, because I'm not using,
I think like every 8 hours or so you should change it. Because remember, at the most, because remember, it breeds bacteria in a dark, moist area, and blood also breeds bacteria, and also tampons may be infected.
Yes.
Napkins could come with a bacteria. So therefore, you change it and you wash it. The old things before you don't wash, you don't have a bath. That was the old thing growing up in my days and perhaps in the. You understand?
Yes, I remember.
So therefore, can you imagine the scent that it's coming from there not changing? You understand? So it's better, and if you having a heavy flow, it's better to change it when it gets wet.
Yeah, not even waiting for,
it's
yeah.
uncomfortable if it's soggy and it's wet, you know. So you have to guard against, and wash your hands before and after. Because you outside, I'm going to the bathroom, I don't have to wash my hands. But make it a habit to wash your hands before and after. Especially before, because you're going, you're touching this, and you're going down there, you can get infected just as well. So it's better to wash your hands. Make yourself a practice to wash your hands before and after you go to the bathroom.
With the tampons, I know that, well, I like to read. my husband doesn't like to go to the supermarket with me because he says, when do you know what is in the bucket, in the bottle or the packet, what you have to read again? I'm like, well, I'm reading again. Maybe they change the ingredients. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just think it's good to read to know what.
To educate yourself.
Yeah, I believe it's good to read.
There may be a different substance now they are using, a different material they are using, and if you get an allergic reaction to it, you know, well, I didn't have it in that one. What is the difference in the package they have now?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because, okay, like with some tampons, of course, and we can go there a little bit too, you will have the applicators. Some, like I think it was, I don't know if it's still on the market, we used to call them OB tampons. You had to, your finger became the applicator. And again, so of course, if your hands are dirty,
you have to wash
then you have, or even if you don't think it's dirty, because there might not be visible dirt, but you're touching everything. Correct.
You know, even the pipe. That's why I disinfected every day, every night, twice a day. When I go, I use a 1 in 10 bleach, and the handles of my bathroom, open the pipe. I do scrub it with a little bleach because they have some. Recently they did some research, and the toilet flusher and the hand basin sink is bacteria filled with bacteria. Especially you're washing your face, you open the pipe, the handle. You remember you come from the toilet and you open that handle in the bathroom. Your hands are filthy. Think about it. You come to the bathroom, you wipe yourself.
Right.
Okay? You open the pipe to wash your hands. Wash your hands.
But you tend not to. Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of people will be saying, well, I take my time and wipe properly. So, I mean, yes, I wash my hands, but yeah, we tend not to wash the top of the a lot of people don't wash the top.
I touch the top.
Oh my. Okay. Oh boy.
It's something to think about.
Yes,
it's
it is.
Something to make it looks simple, but it's for most people it's a lot of work. But or you could take some paper towel and open the pipe or close the pipe.
Now, I want us to be practical, eh? And here where I'm coming in now with that. Now, we're talking and taking for granted that we are speaking to individuals that have flushable toilets. Yes. But we still have a lot of people in Grenada that have environmental toilets. Yeah. Let's put it nicely. You have your latrine, you know. So, there is no flushing in your latrine. Now, of course, you understand. So that's a whole, of course, that's a whole story all by itself.
It's not the flushing.
Yeah.
It's the wiping with your hands filthy.
And all of that, right. Now, I mean, COVID came. Well, I don't know if it came.
A lot.
Right. Yet, I do believe that we are such creatures of habit that a lot of us have continued to just to function. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I could stop doing this now, as though it was only a COVID thing. You know, you were just trying to solve. Hygiene. Hygiene is hygiene. Exactly.
It's not a COVID thing. Hygiene is hygiene. Not a COVID thing.
All right. Okay, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I want us to talk about conception, because to me, we can't talk menstruation without talking conception. Yes. So let's talk about that. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. You are my strength.
We stand before you, Holy Spirit, as we gather together in your name.
With you alone
to guide us. Make yourself at home in our hearts. Teach us the way we must go and how we are to pursue it.
We are weak and sinful.
Do not let us promote disorder.
Do not let ignorance lead us down the wrong path.
Nor partiality influence our actions.
Let us find in you our unity,
so that we may journey together to eternal life
and not stray from what is truth and what is right.
All this we ask of you, who are at work in every place and time.
In communion of the Father and the Son
forever and ever.
Amen.
Going through a storm, but I won't go down. I hear your voice carried in the rhythm of the wind to call me out. You've never been closer than you are right now.
Let's sing it out, y'all.
You are my strength.
All right, well, we are right back. Thank you very much for staying with us. We continue with a whole lot of information for you today. So just before the break, we looked at what happens during menstruation. We looked at retrograde menstruation. So many terms that I'm just learning myself. But what we do know is that menstruation will only occur, obviously, if you have not had a fertilized egg, okay? Now, we going in to talk about things that a lot of people figure, oh, well, they shouldn't be talking about that, but we have to talk about it. So, in the event that there is fertilization, I'm going to ask a question that maybe people will say, oh, well, it's obvious, but I'm going to still ask because I believe that there are some people who still might not know. Can you have a period? Can you menstruate if it is that the sperm did meet? So let's just say you had intercourse and there was a meeting maybe whenever,
Yes.
but your period came, I don't know, not your period
Yes.
was going to come maybe about a
Yeah.
week after.
Uh-huh.
So could it be that you can get your period, but there actually was a joining of,
Fertilization.
yeah.
Most people, and I know a lot of people, and that's why they does not know when the date of delivery. Because most people do have the period, some people, and still is pregnant.
Right, that
And,
first period there of the...
Yes,
could
they
have
don't,
been.
they don't know. Sometimes they have the period for 2-3 months, and then when they go to the doctor, they're feeling sick, they have the period, but they're still feeling nauseous, sick, and they know why I'm feeling sick, I have my period. When they go to the doctor look at them, do a test, and find out they are pregnant.
So how big, because we have been taught, and we think, once you're pregnant, period, that's it with your period. So what happens there?
You have 2 ovaries. Could be one pregnant and the other one is ovulating. You do not get ovulation at the same time. But some people will get ovulation
Even though the egg is fertilized
yes,
there?
even though that egg is fertilized. So you have an
boy.
extra egg now going there, so therefore you are still as if you're not pregnant, but you are pregnant. And some people also can get pregnant 3 weeks after they are pregnant.
I don't understand. How is that possible?
So you're pregnant now, you continue having sex. You did not stop ovulating. So that other egg that just ovulate now could get pregnant.
Hold on.
So you have babies in the womb, 3 weeks old, and one has just not been fertilized.
So, wait, oh my.
And this is called superflutation. Superflutation.
Okay, that doesn't happen often, right?
Does not happen.
Okay,
It's,
great,
it's
because
not. It's one of my friends, on 3 occasions, she had superflutation. She had babies. One was born 1 week. She sent her home, and the other one was born the other week.
What?
And they didn't realize until she feel. And it's a true story I'm telling you, because I know her. She lived in England, and that happened to her superflutation on 3 occasions. And she was written up in the journals.
But she must be written in something. That is crazy.
That
I've
is
never
called
heard that before.
superflutation. This is where 2 eggs are fertilized
At different times.
in the fallopian tube and one in the uterus. One will be fertilized in the fallopian tube and the other one will be it's rare because you should not have fertilization in the uterus. Fertilization should occur in the fallopian tube
And then it comes
then
and
it comes
rests
down.
there.
But in rare cases, it is fertilized in the uterus. So you have one that's fertilized 3 weeks ago. Now you have ovulation. It comes in and the sperm meet up with it there because you have sex, and then you got a super flotation, one coming down. And remember, it takes about 6 to 12 days. Once it's fertilized, it does not go. Well, let's start from the beginning, can we?
Okay, go right ahead. Sorry. I went ahead.
Yeah. You have sex here during intercourse. You ovulate 14 days. You ovulate. These little horns here, see this little fingerless filament? Grabs the egg, because remember, the eggs is coming from the
ovaries.
ovaries.
Right.
Okay? The eggs is not in the uterus. The eggs is not in the fallopian tube. When you're born, all your eggs are in your ovaries. If you're born with 5,000 eggs, it's here. You don't get eggs after you are born. All the eggs from menstruation is already
there.
in the ovaries. They just get mature, and when they mature, you cause ovulation.
Right.
When they mature. And you can ovulate if it's a 28th cycle every 14 days.
And the ovulation, of course, is the release of the egg.
Is the
right?
release of the egg.
Right.
The egg is released when we mean by ovulation.
Right.
Okay? And you have sexual intercourse. You see those little guys going up here?
Very happy.
They go very happy. They swam. One of them may be lucky. Not all of them. There are thousands of them. There are thousands of them, but only one will be lucky. Okay. So when the eggs here, it stays there from 6 to 12 days in the fallopian tube here before it comes into the uterus. Once it comes into the uterus, it's embedded itself. But if it embedded itself in the uterus, the top part, that's fine. But it can embed itself in any part of the uterus. It can embed itself right here. And if it embed itself here, you call it placenta previa. Placenta previa. And this is that life-threatening because once you're ready to give birth, the placenta will dislodge.
It will come out first.
First,
Right. You have
and
that
then your
problem.
baby.
Yeah.
So usually, when the doctor finds it that way, they usually do a cesarean section.
Okay. So, of course, it's that one. That is a threat, of course. And then, of course, the one where the baby begin, instead of being, embedded
Growing here,
it
it starts growing.
inside the
And that is called
fallopian tube.
ectopic.
Yeah.
Ectopic means extra outside, away from the normal area.
Right.
So it's embedded itself anyway here. And then it cannot come through. It could have a blockage here. So a narrowing of the fallopian tube, which is so narrow that the sperm, the egg, fertilized egg, start growing. Mitosis is taking place, and it's getting larger and larger here because it's 12 days. And once it get there, a meiosis take place. It come into 2, 4,
Starts to
6,
multiply.
8.
Right.
So by the time it gets here, is 6, 12 days old, right? And it's embedded itself. And the uterus prepare itself by a lot of hormones, estrogen and progesterone, thickening the inside lining of the uterus. So it's preparing itself for the embedment of the fertilized egg. If that does not happen, you didn't have intercourse, or you had intercourse and you did not fertilize yourself, it comes out as menstruation.
Right.
Blood and mucus comes out as menstruation through the vagina. But there is then that's normal, but the abnormal one
Is what we spoke about
what we
here.
spoke about here. When it does not come through the vagina, it comes back, the backflow, back into the here, and it comes out into the abdominal cavity.
Oh boy. All right. Okay, so now the woman is pregnant. Well, we're not going to go into pregnancy and all of that. But, so if that is the case, she's pregnant, and she has to, well, wait the time and so forth. Now, there are some cases of abnormal abnormal menstruation. What might be some of the conditions and so forth that will
Yes.
lead to that?
I can just go through it without, because I don't think we have what causes abnormal menstruation. There are many causes,
Right.
ranging from stress to more serious underlying medical condition. Stress is a killer, you know. It's a factor that you are stressed, your hormones go out of whack, your body is not rare, your period get irregular. You understand? Even young people, because stress in school, stress in peer, stress in home. Okay? The child can have polyps. Polyps, uterine fibroids are as you grow older. Okay, not mainly in children. Endometriosis, the endometrium, this is the endometrium here. This is what gets thickens. This part here is the endometrium. This is what it really gets thick and prepare
And be able to
itself
come out.
for the fetus. So the endometrium that sheds itself is the blood part and the
Right.
mucus part.
So if
Okay?
someone doesn't have, so if hormones, if sufficient or whatever was not produced, then of course there's nothing to come
There
out.
is nothing to come out because it's not prepared. It's not
my.
prepared. You don't have it. It's not prepared. It's not getting. It gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and it's the inside lining of the uterus that gets thicker and thicker and thicker because of the hormones, the estrogen and progesterone. So a child may not be born with the pituitary gland, okay, that sends signal to the uterus.
Okay.
So therefore, she may not have a period. She may have amenorrhea, that having a period. You see? So if a child does not have, at 13 years old, she has no breasts. It's not budding. She has no underarm hair. She has no pubic hair. Okay? She's 15, 16 years now. She's not menstruating. The parents should look into why she's not. Because the pituitary glands have something to do with it. It could have something to do with it.
Right.
Other area, she may have one without any
ovary?
ovaries.
Oh my.
So she's not menstruating. So therefore, they have to look. There are other diseases. Here like Turner syndrome, and this is a genetic disorder. People with this condition may have developed underdeveloped ovaries. And if they have underdeveloped ovaries, they're not going to menstruate. Why they're not going to have menstruation? Because it's the ovaries that cause the menstruation, because they have the eggs.
Right.
And it's because the eggs have to come here and they're not producing any eggs, so therefore they cannot have any, because the egg is linked with menstruation.
But this is interesting because there is someone that I know who shared with me some time ago that she has been, since in her 30s, she's now in her early 40s. Since in her late 30s, she began to, say that, hey, and she was teasing at first, saying, oh, well, I think I'm going through early menopause. And
She
of course
could have.
it was, but the thing I think she got to find out that it was what you describing there, it was interesting because there was she was producing, she has children and whatnot, but then in recent years, something happened to the ovary, and the ovaries are not producing, and it's not that it's just not producing any more eggs. Apparently, it's
Is she
something
having
to do-
period?
No.
Well, she's not having eggs. She have no eggs.
No. They said it's something with the ovary. They did whatever, and they found that it's unable. The few eggs, apparently there are some eggs left. I don't know. Well, science of it now can do a lot, I suppose, but it's just not
Producing.
It's not. Yeah, it's not continuing. It's not pushing whatever out. But clearly it's something that is wrong. But they said it has to do with her hormones.
With the hormones,
So
definitely.
it has brought on what appears to be premature
Amenorrhea. Premature amenorrhea. AA is without. amenorrhea menstruation. So amenorrhea is without not
But
having
she's
any
having
menstruation.
all the symptoms of
You
like
sure
if
she
she
is
has
having
menopause.
menopause? Because you could get menopause at 25 or 30, 35 years old. You know, you could have
Once,
premenstrual.
just because the egg is
Yes.
just, okay.
You could have, if you're born with 10
Well,
eggs.
I mean, I'm not a doctor,
Yeah,
so
if you're
I'm
born
just
with 10 eggs. If you're born with 10 eggs.
But how you could born with such a...
I'm
well,
just
okay,
making
that's
a scenario. If you
Right.
born, remember, the more eggs you have is the longer your menstrual period. The less egg you have is the shorter your menstrual period. So if you're born with 100 eggs and somebody born with 1,000,
Right, of
they
course.
will menstruate till they're 60, 65.
Oh, my.
If I'm born with 10, by 20, 25, 30 years, I finish my menstruation.
Okay, let me ask this question. It just came back to me. I should have asked it maybe a long time ago. You see some people getting pregnant, of course, sadly, and people laugh at them. And we have this kind of thing in society where you laugh at people who are pregnant old, or supposedly old. I don't know why I don't know what's up with that. It's a cultural thing. Oh, this person in their 50s possibly, or late
As if
40s.
the person don't have any sexual desire.
I know, right?
They must have all the sexual desire themselves.
Right. But you would hear of someone saying, well, I quote unquote enter in menopause already and then look, I get pregnant now. So you even hear people saying, what? I think there's a term for it. You old man, old break baby or something. It's crazy. It's just derogatory. But you hear people saying these things.
Yes.
But my thing is, how is it that someone who is in their 50s or very late 40s, who may have obviously missed a few, but they think that maybe even their doctor told them, well, definitely, because maybe 2 years passed, no period, and then whoop, they're pregnant. What happened there?
They still have eggs. You could only get pregnant if you have eggs.
True. Okay, right. Well, true. So what happened? It's just that they just... So
they
what
skip
happened to
a
the
few
space?
months. They skip a year. Remember, menopause is... after 1 year, you don't have your period. That's menopause. Okay,
That's normal.
But maybe she did not count properly, or maybe she did not really understand. But you could only get pregnant
if
you're not married.
Right, I was
Yes.
not.
Yes. Okay. You must have. Remember, you could have the eggs. Something happened to you. Your hormones drop. Your hormones drop. Therefore, you may eating right. Your stress level decrease. You're feeling better.
Maybe you went through some kind of condition, medical condition.
Now your ovary is ready again, and it's nutritional ready now. So you start producing eggs again, and at that time, you can once you have sex.
Release. Right. Oh. So this poor woman is thinking, I'm safe. And a lot of, because I think that is what it is. A lot of people would say, well, I'm safe. I mean, I could go, woo.
Well, she was an extra on, but once because you see, for me, my father died. My father died. And for about 5 years, I had not seen my period. And on the plane coming, I feel, I'm wet. So therefore, I go to the bathroom. And I had a normal period again for another 5 days. And that was it.
After 5 years?
After 5 years. It happens to me.
Crazy.
I went to bury my father. And it was very stressful because we were very close. And in coming back to the plane, that's stress again. So I had an egg hidden somewhere.
Oh, my. Okay, then. All right, that clears up a lot. It clears up a lot, I'm sure, for a lot of women out there who might be thinking, oh, I'm happy and safe, and you might be putting this word next to your name saying, oh, I'm old, I'm good.
Menopause baby, menopause baby. But on a regular basis, 95% of the time, or 95.99, okay, after 1 year, you in menopause.
Right.
So after a menopause, your eggs are finished. But miracles do occur. You understand? There may be one sitting there. Like my friend, 3 times.
Yeah, with that thing. Yeah, that
3
is
times.
Crazy. Yeah.
And they're finding out the doctor thought he made a mistake. Well, who could he miss that? Who could he miss that? Then,
That's it. Yeah, 3
that's
times
it.
a lot.
Okay? Pituitary gland. Remember, the pituitary glands release the hormone that control the menstrual cycle. If that happened to something happened to the pituitary gland, you know, you get a blow on it, it get infected. What happened to your menstrual cycle? You does not have that gland producing that hormone to speed up
To allow
so you get amenorrhea.
Oh, okay, right, all right.
Okay? Okay? I think so. And also, we didn't even speak about taboo on menstruation.
Oh, yes, so we still have those.
And we still have the, what was the taboo in your time?
Well, just don't have nothing to do with any boy. I don't know, I suppose that meant, I don't know, once you had your period, just, I assumed, well, when somebody tell you, when you went and you told your mom, you see blood. Because
Some children
of course
can't
they
even
didn't
talk to their parents.
Correct. But you were told, of course, you were given a pad or a piece of
Cloth. In my days was the cloth.
Right.
Yes.
And you were told, don't have nothing to do with no boy. Well, of course, you
Don't talk to them. Don't let them hold your hand.
You go to school and you're watching all those boys that you used to play with, fine. And especially if you were kind of tomboy, you used to play a lot. And you're ramping, and now they all asking you, as soon as you reach in school, what happened? Because they're watching you strange, because you're accustomed ramping with them. But you know you're not supposed to play with them, as though just looking at them would make you pregnant.
That's what they put in our mind.
Yeah.
If you look at them and you hold your hand and you kiss them, you are going to get pregnant. They fail to understand and tell the young children. Well, the young children telling
you
the
think
parents
that
now. The young children telling the parents now, because we have CNN, we have in some culture, women are prohibited from participating in normal life while menstruating.
But that's long
because
ago.
they think in a woman in some African culture right now, is impure at that time. They can't cook for the husband, they can't do anything, they are impure. In other cultures, it is believed that during menstruation, women are unhygienic and unclean because you never have a bath, right? And hence, the food they prepare and handle get contaminated.
Okay, let me, as we mentioned in this, and we're talking about taboos, is it medically, deliberately asking from a medical perspective, not from a religious perspective, is it medically okay to have intercourse while someone has a period?
No, that's not the time for the period. God give you a rest, take it.
Okay, but no,
it's not. It's not medically wise.
Is it? Yeah, it's not ready.
It's infectious. It's dirty. It's not.
Okay,
your uterus is open now, and your cervix. You know,
but
everything.
some people do.
Yeah, some people do. A lot of people do. The man may not even have a wash before he has such intercourse with you, come in with his dirty self, and you put in,
So
yes.
it is not the best.
It's not the best.
It's not
the best practice.
Okay.
It's not the best practice.
Right. Now, at the same time, you do, again, now you would have some people, because we deliberately put in this under the taboo section, right?
Yes.
You do have people that would say, and will, you know how sadly a lot of people use scripture just to facilitate, what they want to
what they
practice.
think or what they believe.
And so there's a portion of scripture in Corinthians that speak about the husband and wife making sure that you come together, except for prayer and fasting. Well, it just says
period too.
But
if the woman is unclean, you cannot get together.
So it says that, but that's what I'm saying. But it does not. But that, in the Old Testament, it speaks about that. Right?
Yes.
But in the New Testament, it does not specify. Oh, what's going on with me on this word? It does not specify, right? So that is why I asked.
But the New Old Testament is abridged to the New Testament.
I agree.
Whatever happened in the Old Testament is a carry on to the Old Testament because it's unclean. Even blood in the Old Testament, even now, to be drinking blood or eating blood pudding or something, that's where the infection is, that's where the bacteria is, that's where the germ is in the blood, which is the life of the animal. This is why blood pudding is
you want to be careful of it.
You have to be careful. You should not eat it at all because it is it's infected.
It can
cause problem.
Right.
Can cause problem.
Okay. So in the case No, there are others I would not get into, but because we are dealing with menstruation, because I know of, and that's what I said from a medical perspective, even in the medical field,
Yes.
is it that there would be obviously doctors and so who will not necessarily give this advice? Who will say that it's okay?
Who will say? Because it
would
depends
say
on the
that?
culture,
Okay.
depends where they come from, depends on the understanding, depends of what's in the mind.
Right. Then, so it's really so would you say it's a matter?
It's forbidden, and I don't think it should happen.
You don't think it should be?
No.
It should happen then?
No.
All right.
No.
And we just making it clear that
Yes.
that this.
But that's my opinion, and I'm going on the Bible opinion.
Right, I hear
It
you.
should not happen.
You shouldn't happen
But
during that time.
It's your, because God said to Eve, don't eat the forbidden fruit, but she did went and eat it.
Well, we know what happens with
And what
human
happened
nature
with human nature.
and disobedience.
That puts us in problem now.
Definitely.
So therefore they may be in problem.
All right, and I do want to say, because you see, sometimes we can come, in programs like these, and the thing is that I want to make very clear is, and I'm glad that you said it, we are talking deliberately on the taboo here. These
Yes.
are things,
Yes.
and we've
Yes.
shared our,
Yes.
Anna shared her opinion
Yes.
on this.
In my time, I couldn't go into cemetery. Okay, I don't know why. I could not pick flowers because the flowers not
couldn't
right.
do anything
I
with
couldn't
plants.
press my hair. Remember, in my age, we press in here. We doesn't have any. We couldn't do that because the hair turns. We couldn't bake because the
But what
flower
was the
not going
grounds
to
for that?
rise.
It didn't make any. Is it that something is it that things
It's-
happen
it's-
that cause
it's,
that?
How
People
will
to
you
say
call
that?
that? How you call that? Not
It's just superstition.
myths.
It's just myths.
They are
yeah.
myths, just myths. That it passed down from children generation to generation. But all these myths now is not.
Yeah, we've
is
seen
not
that
taken.
those things are
We've
not
seen
true.
that. As education comes, and things we taken for granted now and is taboo to us now. It wouldn't be taboo for the generation coming.
Correct.
Medication, what they used to do, how they used to treat hypertension before, or illness, they bleed
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, the bleed.
But you need your
it's
blood to
crazy. I
sustain
know.
you.
I have been looking at so many documents, and even as we speak in menstruation, there are
Yes.
so many illnesses, and they just did bloodletting.
Bloodletting.
I'm like, this is crazy. They just drain the
Well,
people,
they do-
and of course kill them
Yes.
faster.
Have
But
you
of course that
noticed?
was then.
Have you noticed the barber? Have you noticed they have a red and white sign? The barber. I don't know if it's in Grenada, but everywhere you go in America and there's a barber, there's a red and one sign.
Really?
Okay. In
know
barber
that.
shop, they used to do the letting of the blood.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I didn't know that at
Yes.
all.
That's the
Okay.
sign. That's a let shop. A barber shop, but you don't feel well, you go.
was a let shop too?
The let shop, that mean the letting mean removal of blood.
Yes, I
When
know that
say
is what it
let.
means, but I
Yes,
didn't know
yes.
that it had any association with barbers.
Yes.
All right. I know we're coming close to, time. So, how do we wrap this up? What else? What do you think? we
Well,
need to
I
just
like to
touch
tell
on?
my audience, educate yourself. If you have young children, educate them, get books, Google is not, okay.
You have to know the truth from Google.
Yeah.
Let's just
It's
say
not a
you have to
wholesome
be
truth.
very-
When
you have to
when
do good
I
at
do
research.
my lecture, I don't do Google. I go to nurses.com or doctors.com.
Yeah. Where
That's
you can
where I get my
prove the
information,
I
where I
agree.
can really prove the information more clearly. So I'm going nursern.com, doctors.com, and you put in your search and educate your children what is menstruation, how do they take care of themselves hygienically, how they clean themselves, what they should do, and what, hand washing before they go to the bathroom, even when they're menstruating, and have a bath, have a bath. Up to now, I know some people don't have a bath.
Really?
Up to now, yes. So take care of yourself and educate yourself and educate your children. Don't let them say, "Oh, I'm just passing blood and menstruating." Let them know it is something in the body. It's a glandular function, and also your breast is a secondary reproductive organ.
It is.
Yes, your vagina, cervix, that's the primary, but your breast is a secondary, because when you have in your period, don't your breast hurt you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
When you get pregnant with the milk,
Okay. Oh.
So it's
all of it.
secondary. It's connected to, not connected to the uterus,
Yeah, yeah.
but
All
by
of those
hormones.
yeah.
Hormones, it's connected. So your brains, your breast, and your fallopian tube, your whole area here is connected to your brain and your hormones. So let them know connection with your brains and your hormones, and if things go wrong, it could be your hormones that is playing up, and you need to see the doctor in
To see what's happening.
to see what happening.
All right.
Because
well,
education is power,
key.
and this is why we are here to educate.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right. Well, another very informative session again. Thank you so much for all. I know for sure that I've learned a lot again. Thank you so much for availing yourself as usual. We shall see next month at God's will.
At God's will.
At God's
Definitely.
will. All right. Well,
Yes.
until we chat again, that will be next week, Friday, God's will. Do have yourself a wonderful rest of your day and a very wonderful and productive weekend. God bless you until we chat again. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
You are my strength like no